Learning all 5 shapes of the minor pentatonic is a waste of your time. So here's another video that I'm gonna do on useless advice that I see floating around on the internet, especially when you're just starting out on your guitar learning journey. And you're gonna find that for a lot of your guitar solos and the minor pentatonic shapes that other good guitarists use, they only probably use at the most 4 shapes of the minor pentatonic. A good example of someone who might use all the 5 minor pentatonic shapes would be someone like Eric Johnson, for example. But not all of us want to be Eric Johnson. We're just going for more rock, more blues kind of playing, and you really don't need to learn all the 5 shapes of the minor pentatonic. Main argument that people will make is, if you learn more shapes of the minor pentatonic, won't you get better at playing the guitar? No, you won't. Because the problem that I see happening is that when someone tries to learn all the 5 shapes of the minor pentatonic, firstly, again, it's easy to learn the 5 shapes of the minor pentatonic, by the way. You're just following and mapping the shape out. But ultimately, how you use the minor pentatonic to create solos or to play your guitar solos does not matter whether you learn 1 shape or 5 shapes. It is about the vocabulary that you have. One issue with trying to learn all the 5 shapes of the minor pentatonic is that you get so bogged down with trying to remember the shapes, try to categorize the shapes, that you throw out the idea of learning actual vocabulary out the window. Because a lot of guitar solos don't have, for example, shape 4 or shape 3, which are the more unwieldy shapes of the minor pentatonic. There are not a lot of guitar solos that are written with those shapes in mind. So what you have is you don't have any vocabulary that you can play over shape 3 or shape 4, for example. And then what ends up happening is that you just, when it comes to the improvisation part, you just spell out the solo. You end up doing, for example, and then the common question that people ask is, I learned all the 5 shapes in the minor pentatonic, why don't I sound like I'm making music? That's the reason. You value the idea of using information, that you forget that at the end of the day, you still need vocabulary. What can we do to make sure that we solo better with the minor pentatonic? Well, first task that I'll always give my students is, with shape number 1, for example, in A minor pentatonic, you should be able to play melodic ideas or the cliche ideas over 1 shape first. So everything that you hear, for example, all these kind of rock and roll ideas, these blues ideas, you should have them under your fingers. There are so many guitar solos that show you how to use the first shape to play those ideas, and you should be proficient in at least 1 position first. And the vocabulary that you learn for the other shapes has to suit your purpose, meaning that you've learned this vocabulary in a guitar solo that you like so that you can use it, rather than the other way around. You learn the shape first and you try to fit it somewhere. It's not going to work out that way.